Hello, Warriors. Hi, Saloom. Ingmar, how are you? Consumer Pleasure Index today. Hiya,
Oh,
K-Man.
that's a good one, Dale.
Thank you, Blake. Glenn, how you
You're
doing?
always you always get the best ones, I tell you.
Uh, Paul Penman. Well, I mean, since it's drifting towards two, it's a pleasure compared to the pain, right?
Yeah, right. That's true point. Good point.
AJ and Ryan and Patrick, everyone's doing okay. So market still FX wise kind of quiet. I talked about Euro Pound yesterday, and that's rounding out something. Looks like a failing rally to me. Um, Cable, I still think it has some upside, and maybe Euro does too. One more shot up. Maybe this is 1-2, and we get something up around 109 or so into the ECB. Um, may attempt a short. That was Blake's imagination. Uh, you know, Thinking that if that happened, that could be a decent opportunity to short it. And we're still on wait for 152 yen. Maybe today's the day.
Mhm.
Um, Metal's giving a little back, not much, and any pullback, Ellioticians are saying it's going to just be a 4. So you don't know how deep it'll be if it comes off here. And risk, what was that late session recovery? At one point yesterday, we were down about 34 handles down here, and it held that 51.50 level. 51.49 was kind of a level for me. Um, I guess we'll see. Uh, if we measure it from here, 150, that's 290 would be a new high. So jury's out there. I mean, just based on, what is it, past performance is indicative of future results. I think they should change that disclaimer to that because it is. If you lose money in the market in your past performance, it's probably indicative of future results unless you you make some changes. And when we get to some of the currency action here, and uh, Ryan, I don't know your voice, how your voice is doing here
Hey
today.
Dale.
Yeah,
Hey
why
mate.
don't you take a rest?
Yeah, doing well.
Take a rest with your voice.
Yeah, trying to, mate. Trying to.
Okay, all
I,
right.
I
Well
think that,
then,
that flip around in stocks yesterday was the Intel headline about their
okay.
chip announcement that seemed to turn things around.
Would they have something like Nvidia now? That was
Yeah, they
it.
got some new chip they're going to be launching.
Okay, because that was pretty dramatic in the last hour or so. So we'll see. The Dow still looks like the weak sister. I mean, look how far away it is from the highs compared to S&Ps. Look like it's a layup for new highs, and Nasdaq as well compared to the Dow. Also, the Russell. I don't know if we're going to have enough juice for a new high here either. Anyway, expectations. Taiwan had news about chips. Okay. Um, Expectations, Brian, on this number? Do you have any?
Uh, no, my marker's still 3% for this one. I think it's a bit of a pivot line for the Fed. If it stays above 3%, it's sticky.
Okay.
If we see a two handle on it, then that gives them cause to say, "Yep, we're still going to cut this year." But yeah, if it stays above 3%, even if it misses expectations but stays above 3%, I think any dollar weakness on that sort of move gets faded because it will be 10 months that we're seeing CPI at 3 or above.
Okay. So it's a big number. I was looking at, what we had here on Daily Squawk, and here it's saying on Live Squawk, US CPI likely to make further progress towards 2%. So I'm assuming that's the market expectation that it's going to be benign or moving in the right direction. So I would say if you got your number, have people wrong-footed.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. I hope you feel better soon. It's a drag to lose
Cheers,
your
mate. Thank you.
voice. You can't even go out singing tonight. So
I don't go singing any night.
you
I've only
take
got
it easy.
I've
Vegas
only
is
got a voice for
morning
the
for
football
you, Dale,
stadium.
but not for Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Morning,
So,
everybody.
Kay, good morning, Kay. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
So, what are you thinking going into this number?
Um, I think the market is again. The feeling is that the market would love to have a reason to sell dollars. So there's also been a bit of talks about seasonality, March giving up the turn of the year spikes. So that puts me. I'm I am open both sides on via options, but I have very little cash in the books because it can either you can go really either way. We can have also a Caesar's effect where the headline goes up due to energy and the core comes down due to shelter. But whether we are going to see long-lasting moves again, I just want to remind people about the options market being very good in what they price usually. And today they are pricing about 60 pips. So that's 109.10 and 108 the figure. We should be finding people on the other side. So I do agree that it's going to take quite a miss or quite a beat to get any sustainable move in this market. That is for the euro dollar. I think there's other currencies where we could see a bit of vulnerability in the dollar. Then I'm thinking about the Antipodeans, the Aussie and the Kiwi, for instance. But then we also have Bank of Canada, and there I'm looking at the other side because it's not that I've think or that they will be dovish, but I think there's a chance that the Bank of Canada comes over a little bit more dovish than just neutral. So I think the Canadian dollar will be something interesting if we see some strengthening of the Canadian dollar somewhere on the back of a miss in the US CPI. That may be a relatively decent counter trade coming, but then we have to see, of course, what the Bank of Canada does. And then, yeah,
And the rear view mirror came in. Is this looking like a significant top in the dollar that we put in at
yeah,
105 on Friday?
yeah. I think it was a decent reversal, and it came right on that support zone in the euro dollar as well, in the low 107s. That's now my big zone for any further development, whether it's today on the CPI or the combination of today's CPI, tomorrow ECB. But yeah, that's a big level. But in the meantime, yeah, I think 109, 109.15, 109.30, something like there is should be significant enough on the euro dollar as well. I don't know where that puts the Dixie at, but yeah. Yeah, so and then of course it's going to be watching if any beat could finally make this dollar yen break. It would be something if we close the day on a decent number and still not be able to break 152. That would be something. Then I think I stop trading yen for the next 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Hey, K-Man, I'm glad you mentioned that regarding the dollar yen. We remember and Mark Chandler, he was on here with Dale. Was that Friday, Dale? Was that last
That was
week?
Monday.
It was Monday. God, it felt like a week ago. That's how slow this week has been. But remember, Mark came and he mentioned that obviously the Prime Minister is here visiting President Biden. So to get some sort of intervention while the Prime Minister is on our shore, he just thinks it'd be pretty, it wouldn't be too tasteful. So I guess the question would be, if we did get a rally above 152, is there anything that would stop it?
He said it would be like a dam bursting, quote unquote. over
What is a
152.
dam bursting?
If we get over 152, it would be
Uh,
like a dam bursting, and you know,
mm.
he was talking, I don't know, 54, 55 in a hurry.
Yeah,
If not,
I would agree. But then, as I also said, I think then if dollar yen would go a lot faster than the rest, then I think the intervention risk is there, you know, because especially if it goes fast enough. As I've been saying, they've been surprised by the move after the Bank of Japan, and so they are on heightened state of alert, even despite dollar yen now being stuck here. It's not at levels where they like it, because dollar yen is at its highs, where the rest of the dollars is not. So that I think is putting the needle a lot more into intervention possibility territory. As I said, especially if it goes fast. I mean, if this thing rallies to 154 tonight, tomorrow, I really wouldn't be surprised to see them come in. If it goes up there, I'll cover everything of my dollar yen call and just be completely hedged. So that means short the cash against it, and then they can intervene.
okay. All right, that's K-Man's action plan. And WTI pulled back a little bit. It's holding this 50-day right here. Nat gas has really come to life. The Widowmaker starting to look pretty good. You know, we were at those historic lows. I mean, you could go back 10, 20 years, but here's the weekly on it. The monthly will show where it was. Looks like it's trying to turn the corner, maybe closing back above 2. You know, would make it look like some type of false breakdown. So you wouldn't expect it in the summer, right? You know, natural gas used a lot more in the winter, but here was another low around the same level in 2020. So nice looking week we're putting in here in nat gas.
It
I don't
doesn't take a
I
lot
don't
to get
trade it.
100% return in that from here.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah.
No.
I mean,
I mean,
that would be
to
a
get from where we're at to
23%.
4, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it just doesn't take a lot.
Yeah. You know,
Summer
that'd
or
be
no
like
summer,
a
winter or no winter.
23% correction or 38% correction of
Yeah.
that fall from 10 to 2, you know, 38 back is 380. Yeah, it'll take it $5. So anyway, for those that like to hear the ice crack, here's natural gas. So we'll see. Looking forward to the number. Shares are still acting pretty good. There's a monthly. I mean, they've had 2 good months. We're only early into this. You know, further than I expected Newmont to go. I don't know. Maybe we get a pullback to 34 if gold comes off. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, I said that's you made a great call. They've made a big move. I'm gonna take the charts because we got like 15 minutes here.
Yeah,
But
go
I
ahead,
want to
buddy.
show you the real risks I feel right now with gold is not so much that, well, actually I do think there's a little bit of a risk. It's more of what happens with today's data. It's today's data that you got to be a little careful with gold. And let me pull up the gold market here. So the problem with gold is that we are at the 161% extension of the 2000, basically the 2022 range, right? You know, you had the range, you had the false breakdown. This a false breakdown, you guys hear me say this all the time. False breakdown leads to breakout. So yeah, I mean that it took, okay, that's October 2022. It took basically, you know, a year for that to come to fruition, but it did eventually. So we got the false breakdown led to a breakout. We got 161% extension, which is I don't want to say it's the maximum you're going to get, because that's not true. You know, these breakouts can continue, especially you look at gold and you look around at like what's happening right now. I wouldn't sit there and go, oh no, this is it. Gold's coming back down aggressively. But we have reached a reasonable target based on a very long-term analysis that we've had on gold of a range extension, false breakdown, excuse me, a range extension. And now we're at the 161% extension. So the risk is that, yeah, the daily RSI is very overbought. We are at channel resistance and 161% extension. The risk is if if today's CPI is hot, and I know that there's a lot of people expecting weaker data. You know, a lot of people are hoping for weaker data. Actually, I'm gonna go and confirm exactly what K-Man just said. I think everybody hopes to sell dollars. That's the hope. That's the hope trade. Everybody wants to sell dollars. And with right and good reason. Look at the setups that are in front of us right now. Euro, inverted head and shoulder pattern, right? Let me be clear here. This is I'm going to give you guys, you know, some of the stuff that we've been talking about over the last 48 hours in the ForexAnalytix community. This is why you should be involved in the ForexAnalytix community, because they've seen all these charts. You guys may be new to some of this stuff, but this is going to be some free stuff for you. So you got the euro dollar inverted head and shoulder pattern developed. Sterling inverted head and shoulder pattern developed. It's ready to go. I mean, it's ready to trade towards channel resistance. Aussie dollar right up against a big, you know, channel resistance zone. Look at the Kiwi trying to play out following the RBNZ. So we break above this resistance zone at 60.85. You got another 70 pips in it. So it's already playing out. The flip side is if we have, you know, strong data, then what are you going to do? Again, this is how the market's leaning into weak data. The market is already saying, hey, if we get some weak data and the CPI comes in a little weaker, which everybody's praying will happen, but you guys know the inflation's been somewhat sticky. But if it comes in a little bit below expectations, the trades are very clear. We know exactly what to do. But what happens if it's strong data? And that's when you start looking at, okay, you got the dollar yen that could, you know, we just talked about how the risks of a break above 152. And, you know, if we start trading above 152.50 towards 153, what's going to stop it? Especially with the Japanese prime minister sitting in the United States right now. Is the Ministry of Finance going to step in and start intervening and selling dollars, you know, to spit in Biden's face? I know a lot of people would say, yeah, do it. But, you know, is that realistic? That's something we need to be thinking about, you know, especially for those of you that are like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to sell the dollar yen higher. Think about that real quick. You got the dollar CAD. There is a risk today that the Bank of Canada comes in, you know, a little bit more dovish. I don't know if you guys saw last Friday's jobs data, but it was crap. How bad was the miss, K-Man, off the top of your head? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, it came out flat, but both part and full-time were just very small negative, if I recall correctly.
Unemployment rates
and unemployment
ticked higher
rate
quite
spiked.
aggressively.
Unemployment rate spiked, yeah.
Mm. You know, and then you know, you got you know, disinflationary data, you know, there. So, you know, there is a risk that you got a dovish BOC a little bit later today. And notice how the dollar Canadian's holding up really well, despite crude oil being, you know, closing in on $90. Yeah, you would think with crude at 90, the dollar CAD would be way down here, you know, if not down here. I mean, you know, we could sit here and argue how far you think the dollar CAD could go, but you know, it's not. The fact of the matter is, with crude as strong as it is, the dollar CAD is just literally, you know, pips away from really key resistance. By the way, just so you guys can see it, and these are all things that we talk about on the morning edge every single morning with all of our ForexAnalytix traders, but you guys will see it now. That entire move, that's a 618 retracement that continues to cap us here at 136.20. So if you wonder why we keep knocking our head up against there, right, Ryan, we knock, but eventually you're going to let us in, right?
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Well, if I'm Uber Eats, you're going to let me in. Just as a bad dad joke. Okay. So anyway, we have the dollar CAD knocking our head up against this really, really critical level. Again, if the data is not weak and it comes in strong, there are things to do. There are currencies to play. And if the data is weaker, we have data, or we have trades to take too. So anyway, those are my best setups going into today's data for currencies. Euro weak data, we trade above 108.80. And by the way, we do have the European Central Bank here in tomorrow, and my view is I think that the European Central Bank and Christine Lagarde are going to keep their it's on, I want to say hawkish. I just want to see that I say that they want to keep their ideas and motives close to their vest, which the market would interpret as more hawkish than dovish, if that is the case. So I think the euro plays really well into a weak data point. I think weak data would allow for the euro to really move up towards 110. Sterling, obviously, towards channel resistance. You got not, and I don't really care about the Aussie right now. Kiwi after last night's RBNZ, but on strong data, you have the dollar CAD that could move up towards 136, and you have the dollar yen, which is obviously threatening a big breakout here. Those are my thoughts. K-Man, what are your best ideas going into CPI today?
Well, as I said, I think if it's a weak one, I can see the antipodians continue to rip. If it's a strong one, then dollar yen is one which can become volatile. If it's a weak one, yes, I mean the cable could put in a bit of a rally, perhaps towards 128. If it's a strong one, then I think ahead of the ECB, ahead of Bank of Canada, I think euro could suffer a bit and dollar Canada fly. So that's the one and the other side for the majors.
Sounds good. And
about
and let's not forget gold and silver, but here's the other thing about gold, right? And I know gold's at really key resistance. We talked about channel resistance, 161% extension, but damn it, gold is so strong. I mean, it doesn't matter what rates are doing. It doesn't matter what the dollar's doing. Gold continues to just look so bullish. What do you do with gold here, Kay?
For the time being, nothing. But as I said, give me a bit of a weaker number and silver rally up above 28.60. I may start to hedge a bit of my long-term ones. Gold, I really don't know. I mean, it already has to come before you can even talk about a correction. You need to go $50 lower. 50.
Right. Yeah. No,
right?
50 is I would say generously, we need to get, below like that 70.
I know, but I mean, 23 would already be a bit of a level, I guess. But yeah, I'm actually surprised it just stays up here. Okay, let's say it's still a bit of a risk, but with geopolitics not really getting worse, and then as I always say, the market is always suffering from collective Alzheimer. I would have thought with geopolitics not getting worse that we may have already seen it come off a little bit, but
me too.
it's just a rocket for now.
Yeah.
But then we all know when the day it turns, everybody is going to be surprised why it turns as well. So yeah, I think anywhere between 23.50 and I've got a level at 23.90 as well. Up there, we should. It's likely going to be decision time, no? I guess, or a bit of correction at least.
think
Yeah,
Jim Welsh describes it as, surprised him too, the strength, that instead of the typical, I don't know, 3 wave or 5, whatever is normal, that it's an extension that is going to have 9 waves. So
that's well,
Yeah.
that would be just that would be just interesting, I guess.
And
I
any
think everybody was
pullback is,
surprised about the speed and the amplitude of the move.
Yeah.
And then he
Especially speed
pullbacks like a
versus amplitude.
4 before a new high. And I think Grega has the same idea about that.
Well, let's take a few moments just to talk about equities, because we'd be remiss if we didn't. First of all, the S&P is obviously still in a very, very bullish trend, and you guys, I think here, let me fix this chart really quick. We obviously have a very strong channel. You can see it in black. It's in black. So that means the channel support comes in at 2140 or 5140. We would only hope that it was 2140, 5140, which would be, horizontal support. Then to create like really lower lows, I still want to see a break below 5110, but 5140 on
that's a big
the
number.
S&P is about it. If you're looking at like the E-mini futures, you could argue that that's, whatever this low was is 5190. So it depends what what instrument you're looking at. But I think the S&P still looks very buoyant, and that's, again, this is you want to be surprised. Look at how the stock market continues to react. I mean, that's obviously very surprising as well, right? Dale, what do you make of stocks up here, especially with Nvidia flirting with these lows?
Yeah, the weekly, if you put up the weekly, I think you use a 9-day.
No, I do. I just have a 50 and a 200.
Okay.
Just a regular SMA, just because everybody else does. But there's Nvidia. So let's my 50 DMA comes in, at 5110.
Yeah, I have a 9. Let me just check. I think it was 5149 that held it last week, and underneath it is the 50, and there's a big gap between it. But we get a benign number, should see new highs. 5350 was another fib extension. So but under that 5149 level, the correction's underway.
All right.
And
So let me say this, guys. You have 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes till data comes out. If you are trading at all and you have open positions, adjust your stops accordingly. This is going to be a day where things can get a little hairy. If you are trading a prop account, like DX Trade or 8cap or whoever, think markets, make sure you adjust your stops appropriately, and be aware that most brokers, I always think, like, my Oanda is pretty good at going down during events like this. Like, I might not get some fills live trading. It just happens. So you guys make sure you close out your positions. Anything you don't want to open, this is the time to do it within seconds. Okay, I'm going to jump over to the calendar. I'm going to open the data flash really quick so we can see that data coming up. You can see the CPI there. I'm going to move it over really quick, put it back in front of the charts. And remember, manage your risk, guys. It's all about managing risk here. Stops too tight, you're probably going to get triggered. You want to reduce position size, widen your stops if you're going to hold on to a position. And if you don't want to take the risk, close out the positions just to reduce your risk as a whole. Today is probably going to be a busy day. You can see coming up to today, we had literally the last 48 to 72 hours of nothing happening because the market was prepared for today, or is prepared for today. So the chances of an explosive move here, quite high. So there you go. S&P to the left, dollar index right in the middle, yields are going to be over to the right, and we have
dollars selling off.
Yeah, dollar's under a little bit of pressure. We got sterling that's actually pushing that right now. So, and the dollar yen. We got about 30 seconds till the data comes out. Like I said, and I think K-Man said it best, people are looking for reasons to sell the dollar. Just give us a week CPI data to do it. Right, Kay?
Absolutely.
And we're trying to preserve Ryan's voice. That's why I haven't gone
Yeah,
back to Ryan,
exactly.
because Ryan's turned
Don't worry
into a
about me.
frog.
The fingers work.
Sounding wonderful, Ryan. CPI
Little bit
hot,
higher.
hot, 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 hot.
Are you making your screen do that?
I just closed
Oh,
out my
look at the
euro dollar
dollar
shorts
roar.
for a quick 22 pips. Done with that.
152 gone. 152's gone.
Okay. And S&P selling off
Woo!
and yields are exploding.
Boom. Done.
Yay. I'm kind of
Yep.
happy.
I finished out
What's-
closing all my euro shorts out. That would end up being a lot more than 20 pips.
Is a strong dollar affecting gold?
Let me look at gold's
Yeah,
taking
gold
a
is
crap.
$15 lower.
Oh boy. See, it topped the day after the eclipse.
All right.
I know. No one wants to hear it.
And guys, remember dollar Canadian's above 136.20 right now, and that's going to be a big deal. I've been long dollar CAD for
Hey,
a while,
Blake,
but
let me just show the attendees the S&P chart, the weekly, with the 9-day, and so that they could see
you know
what I'm
what,
talking
Dale,
about.
I'm gonna turn it over to you, but before I do, just remember, and then
Giles isn't here.
Miles isn't here. Okay, well let me mention this. It's the last day of trader coaching. The discount is today. It ends today. So if you want to book a time with one of your mentors here, let's say Ryan, because he sounds like a frog, and I think it'd be great if you record him as a frog. You get a 50% off your first session. Remember, we're doing that just as a launch special. All right, Dale, go ahead and take it over. And
and you know what? I talking about mentors. You know, I did it for many years, and it's rewarding.
That's why they call you coach.
Yeah, and but you know what? This is what I found, that you either pay to learn or you're going to pay the market. So it's a better investment to pay to learn than to learn how to pay the market. So it's either or. And I'm not saying that if you pay to learn, you're not going to be paying the market, but you'll have some tools that'll help you not pay the market as much and how to be on the right side of things. So either way in life, there's more than death and taxes that are for sure. Inexperience in these markets. Usually it's, some people pay a community college tuition to learn. Some pay an Ivy League tuition and sometimes don't even learn. Just, it was just a fiasco. So anyway, I just want to show this S&P chart.
Please do. It should be available to you right now.
You see it?
Wait, I'm sharing mine.
Sharing?
Here, you got to share your screen.
Oh,
there we go. Now you can.
Okay, got it.
I still don't see your screen.
It's coming.
Okay. And if Giles isn't here, I'll take back over when you're done.
All right. See it right here, this 9-day. And remember, I've been talking about this type of uptrend here, this little grinding, not real big ranges, not like the expansion of ranges we had here. And one bad week can just change the whole trend and take out weeks worth of action of support. And I think this could be one of those situations. So we got through this 51.50 level, which was something you brought up today, right, Blake? 51.5. That's where the 9-day is coming in, 51.49. And look at the space underneath it before the 50.
Yeah.
And I'm only looking for this 48. Maybe I'm just conservative, which is unusual. I'm really not that conservative. But that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you how important that level is.
All right, cool. It's a big one, Dale, and I'm going to take back over really quick. Let's just go, just since you can look for Giles now, and if he's not here, then we'll go for a few more minutes.
Forex Guest Hunter. On the
Forex guest
move.
hunter on the way. Let's talk about obviously the yen breaking out. So the yen has made a move. We are trading at 152.30. K-Man, what's your gut feeling right here?
This is a strong number. If I think we can push through without anything interventional. So we're probably going to push through. This has 154 written all over it, in my opinion. Yeah.
And you know what? The flag, which we've had here forever, it still points to 154. So it, it seems logical. Like,
yeah.
and but wouldn't it make sense? Like we could get all the way to 154 between now and like the week and you get the prime minister and everybody's back in Japan, and maybe they make a move sometime next week around 154, 155. Right?
Yeah, I think I still think there's a possibility. Now, it all depends what the rest of the dollars are going to do. If the yen crosses actually don't if the yen doesn't weaken too much versus the other currencies non-dollar, it may be the case that they stay out, but the speed is going to be it. But I really think if they don't intervene, we fly through. It's gonna go.
Yeah. All right. Matter of fact, I need to change a couple of orders because I have some that are coming up pretty damn close. I'm only about 50 pips away from some of my orders to start because most people know that I've been trying to do this for I've had orders sitting out there for like 2 months. So I kind of need to make a couple of adjustments. Let's talk a little bit about the euro. So again, the euro, we still have an inverted head and shoulder pattern if it really wanted to play out. Now, I wouldn't play it that way. I just covered my euro short that I've had on since yesterday after tagging the 618 or the last 36 hours or so. I was short around these levels. And sterling obviously
51.49 S&Ps. We're there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is it. Really key support. Hold on. I just want to Aussie, another failure into that range.
All
Kiwi,
one market. All one market. Everything's up together. Everything's down together.
But you guys need to keep an eye on the dollar CAD today as we're trading well above resistance now. We hold above 136. The risk is it's not just the dollar CAD. You got like the euro CAD ahead of the ECB. Sterling CAD looks pretty damn good. It's a lot of crosses here. And let's go to the S&P. As Dale was just pointing out, we are at support right now. This is channel support, remember? And let's do a little bit of work here, Dale, for everybody's sake, right? Before you get too, I say before we get too excited one way or the other. Yeah, mate, me.
I did a cartwheel.
So this black trend line is the channel. So in your guesstimation, well, actually, you know what? I can ask this to Ryan. Ryan, in your guesstimation, I'm going to let the frog speak. How much does this change Fed expectations today?
Well, swaps have already cut from 60 pips of cuts this year down to 50. We've pretty much priced out June. September's probably getting a bashing as well in July.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all changing. So it says I wrote in the chat room earlier today, strong numbers. We're probably going to see the dollar bid for a few sessions. Everyone now will want to hear what Powell or one of the big heads like Williams, who's speaking tomorrow, will say about this. Does it change the cut scene, or are they going to turn more hawkish and raise the prospect of having to go the other way and hike again? So the Hawks are going to have their moment with this one.
Okay, all right. Appreciate that. And what do you think, K-Man? You wanted to mention something there?
The 2 years are now actually pricing. Well, pricing is always a big word, but in the US twos we are sub 2 cuts.
Look at that.
We are sub 2 cuts.
Going for the highs, Blake, on this breakup. Going for the October highs.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years probing really key resistance.
Yeah,
here's your
10-year at 450.
Yeah.
Here's your 465 incoming, Dale.
Huh?
Your 465 is incoming.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, hey, we're not too far away from real. Again, I agree exactly with what K-Man was saying, and I couldn't agree more. Everybody is just trying to lean into dollar shorts. Everybody's thinking that, you know, the data is gonna get better. The data is gonna be more accommodative to the Fed. We ain't getting it. We ain't getting it, and it's really going to upend this market, and that is a problem. You know, it's a problem for it's a problem for the market, and we're seeing it an increasingly problem for anybody who's bearish the dollar. You're probably going to see it become more of an issue for anybody who's increasingly a bull in the stock market at these levels. So I think those are the risks right now. So
And watch that loony now, because if the POC's dovish, then we're probably going to see 137 not long after.
yeah, how about if you get a surprise cut today? I mean,
No,
that's a really low probability, but it is a probability. You
yeah,
know,
0.00001% probability. Probably.
And this is for George's comment about awakening the teddy bear in me. I just wanna be your teddy bear. I don't wanna be your lion. Lions play too tough. I don't wanna be your tiger. I just wanna be your teddy bear.
oh, I love it. And this is the whole reason why you come to Face is if you get the very, very rare opportunity to hear Dale sing, you know,
Yeah,
that's what makes it
teddy
great.
bear.
Hey
Anyway,
Dale, I'm gonna leave
all
it
right.
for you, and I think we're gonna sign out here. Giles, I'm sure will come back when he can,
Yeah,
and I want to thank Ryan. I hope you gargle lemon. What do singers use? Dale, lemon, water, salt, gargle
whiskey.
something.
I'm on all that. I'm
Southern
on all that.
Comfort. Southern
All
Yeah.
right,
Comfort.
Southern Comfort. That
Gin,
is an old
That
school
took you
name,
back, huh? Did that
girl.
take you back? It's like cough syrup.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Do you guys have Southern Comfort out there
that
in the
was
UK? Just kidding.
Janis Joplin's
do. Of course we
drink of
do.
choice.
I've had 8 of those already today.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Well,
Bye.
thank you, K-Man, for being here.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Ryan, for toughing it out. I know you had to cancel the flow show due to your frogness, but hopefully you'll be back tomorrow morning. Dale, thanks for your singing and for always guiding us every single day, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Blake, very
And
much.
last thing I need to mention here, guys, don't forget, today is your last day of this discount. We had a couple. Well, anyway, I'll revisit this tomorrow. But
Find
this is
yourself a coach. You know,
yeah,
if you watch any sports team, they're great athletes, but what makes the team great is a coach.
you know, Ryan's got a
Find one.
few times disappearing. So yeah, yes, there is always a good coach behind a great athlete. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
There is.
All right, guys. Well, don't just count your teddy bears or any other stuffed animals. Count your blessings, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good hunting. See you in chat. If you're not in chat, join so you could be there.
Yeah, we'll see you for the ECB. Remember, ECB is tomorrow, and we have
Okay.
other data that's going to be. We're going to navigate through the ECB data, and then we're going to have Lagarde's press conference like right after that. So it's
Yeah, it's action packed in light of what's happening with the
very
dollar
much.
today. All right. So everyone, adios. Good hunting. Join the team in about a half an hour on the morning edge. And I'll see everyone tomorrow. Adios.